A typical night at the club.
Let's get raw.
You don't want to fall in love.
Let's get raw.
You got the fusion in your blood.
Let's get raw.
And to my ladies and my thugs.
Let's get raw. And to the haters on the scene.
Let's get raw.
Don't be mad cause we got green.
Let's get raw.
You should be trying to make the team.
Let's get raw.
Cause we taking everything.
Let's get raw.
Raw Fusion.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? King B right here, and welcome to the King B's Raw Fusion podcast. Now, some of you may remember the TV show King B's Raw Fusion that we had on PBS, and we did for years on television. There are others that may know me from the Candlelight Cafe, which was my radio show. This is going to be a lot of all of that. For those that knew Raw Fusion on TV, we had fashion, sports, entertainment, interviews, music. Well, you can expect a lot of that here at the podcast. So enjoy the audio version of Raw Fusion through the podcast, and we are going to have fun, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now it's time for our spotlight. And in the spotlight today is a wonderful person that I've known since first grade. She is a brilliant attorney, an entrepreneur, and she's got a lot of things going on that we're going to talk about in just a few seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the spotlight, April Preyar. How you doing, counselor?
Good. Woo! Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited.
I love it. Now, you've been doing a lot of things for a very long time. You still look good doing it, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's talk about how this all started. I know that you are an attorney. You know, we have kind of a kindred spirit there. I wanted to be an attorney. I just didn't want to go through law school. No, that's actually not.
Yeah, neither did I.
That's actually not true. I didn't want to go to law school, but that was because I got sick of school in college. But it was also because I got a conscience somewhere in college. And I wasn't going to be a prosecutor because, well, they don't make enough money. And that's just not, God's son is true. And I started to think, do I really want to get people off that I know did it? And I'm kind of an obsessive. I love to win. And I just, you know, getting some murderers and pedophiles or whatever off, and I know they did it, was a problem for me. Even though I know that the system only works when everyone is entitled to a defense. I think that was the reason why I stopped. And then I just went into entertainment. And the funny part about it is that you are an attorney and you're kind of an artist, or not really kinda. You are an artist and a bit of an entertainer. So there you go. Let's talk about this law firm.
So I've actually had my same partnership for almost 11 years. Actually, this month makes 11 years.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And then we added 2 new partners. I mean, moments before Corona hit, days before the coronavirus hit. So that's a brand new partnership. But so we do immigration, criminal defense, and then I like to say we sue cops. We do civil rights cases based on tasing, beat-ups, shootings, wrongful death cases, and most of them are based on police stops. So we say that we do the people's work.
That is wonderful. What's the name of the law firm for everyone out there?
Schiller, Preyar, Gerard, and Samuels.
Woo! Yeah, that sounds like a law firm.
It was just Schiller Preyar for almost 11 years. So I'm getting used to adding the 2 additional names.
Wow. That's great. Here's the thing that I have a problem with. I had my own run-in. I'm probably not going to talk about it right now. But because my ass wasn't kicked, which wasn't going to happen.
You're a big dude, too, so.
Yeah. I don't think they wanted
that
it.
helps.
I don't think they wanted it. However, I did go through a process, and what I was told was it was not really worth suing the city because I didn't get my ass kicked. But it definitely was unjust to the fact where when we went to court, they just immediately threw it out. Mm-hmm. And even the sergeant told me that I should sue them because it's like, what did he do? There's nothing here in the report. So what's that about?
So that's unique to did it happen in the city of Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's unique to the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago for, I don't know, going on 3 or 4 years now has had a no settlement policy. And that was their way of weeding out cases like you just described, where there aren't really severe injuries, but definitely an injustice was done. But they know that they will basically wear you out in court financially. So they will tell you up front, we're not settling with you. You're going to have to litigate this. And so because of that, a lot of those smaller cases fell by the wayside until recently. So there is a nonprofit called First Defense Legal Aid that actually recently set up a hotline just to take cases like those, the ones that maybe the big firms shy away from because it'll be a lot of money up front, because those types of cases you don't pay, the client does not pay out of pocket at all.
Okay.
You don't pay anything unless we win for you.
Right.
And so that's a big risk for law firms to take. So they recently set up a hotline to catch cases like that and get those people served, as opposed to them throwing their hands up and discuss saying, okay, there's no way for me to get any recourse.
Okay, that's interesting.
But if it happened in a smaller suburb, or a smaller village or a smaller town, they probably would have likely settled with you to avoid the bad press.
They don't like that bad press, do they?
No.
Cops would be run through the mud with the bad press.
Yeah.
What do you think about sports figures and their kneeling right now? The NBA, as they play the anthem, the entire team, let's see, the coaches, damn near everybody in there, because they're in quarantine, everybody in the house is basically taking a knee. What do you think about that?
So I actually think it's a beautiful gesture. I mean, it's unfortunate that they left Cap out there hanging for so long by himself.
Right.
Really. But it's a beautiful gesture, and it's easier for people to go along, to get along and jump on a bandwagon.
Right.
And I think we're seeing a lot of gestures. Like, I'm very annoyed by all the streets being painted with Black Lives Matter.
Really?
And all the statues getting knocked down. Yeah. Because it's they're doing it to pacify us. It's not there's no real change taking place. Have any systems, I did a whole video on this like last week, ranting about have any systems come down. We're cheering about statues falling down, that's great, but have any systems come down? Have these dirty cops been fired? Have the cops who killed Breonna Taylor been arrested?
Right.
No, nothing has changed. Has the legislation changed in most places? No, nothing has changed. So it's beautiful to see the words Black Lives Matter on someone's back or on the streets, or see someone kneel. And I appreciate the sports figures actually using their platform, using their clout to continue to bring attention to it. So I do think that is beautiful. But on the flip side, yes, the NBA, the NFL, the whomever are finally allowing people to express themselves through their First Amendment rights. Right. Finally allowing it does not make any systems change. It's not going to stop the calls I get daily from protesters getting beat in the head by cops for simply protesting and holding up a sign.
Right.
So that is my concern, is that we applaud all the symbols, but we don't make any change in terms of systems.
What can we do that's not in the legal realm? What can we do to bring about this change? Voting. And
make your voice heard with whatever platform you have. So I have been saying all along, like, I'm very serious about the sheltering in place, very serious about the quarantine, in part because my mom died in February, and I now live with my dad, who's 80, and I'm like, I'm not risking bringing him nothing.
Right.
Everything gets delivered. We get groceries delivered. We leave the house very, very infrequently because I'm not going to take that risk. So I'm certainly not going to a rally with thousands of people to bring something home to him.
Right.
But I have a voice. I have more power than the average protester holding up a sign. I have a platform. I have a video that got 1.1 million views in a day.
Wow.
I have the same video that got 2.5 million views to date. So it's like, and then I have 20 years of experience seeing this injustice play out in courtrooms. So I have a voice. I have a unique perspective. I have a different way to reach people. So whatever your platform is, whether that means you sit down and talk to your two sons and tell them something different than your dad told you, then that is a different matter. You know what I'm saying? You use whatever means you have, and then the most important one is to vote.
Yes, I agree with that. And I'm sorry to hear about your mother, by the way.
Thank you.
You know, it's just interesting to me, and we've been talking about it the whole show. I agree with you that, you know, it's a nice gesture, but we need to get some real change going on in the system. It's time, and it just needs to happen. It needs to happen now. Okay, so I have one more question legally, and then we'll move on to some of the other things that you're doing. I understand the legal process, right? What my question is to you, as far as the system is concerned, we are presumed innocent until proven guilty, correct?
That's what they say.
What is it supposed to be? Why do you spend years in jail waiting on your trial if you're presumed innocent?
Because it punishes the poor. And so there's a movement away from money bonds, and this is a national movement.
Okay.
And in Cook County, the way it is played out is those who are, I mean, you really seen it play out during COVID because so many people were released on electronic monitoring because the outbreak at Cook County Jail was one of the worst in the country. But even before that, there was a move away from monetary bonds because all it did was mean that if you and I were charged with the same crime and you were a millionaire and I was not, I would sit and you would be free to roam the streets until your court date.
Right.
And so there's an obvious injustice in that. Like I remember when I first started off at the public defender's office, you know, we'd have these massive calls of 30, 40 people in lockup, and I would see the same people month after month who had literally $100 bond. I'm not exaggerating at all. For a theft case or a prostitution case, $100, but all of their friends together could not put $100 together, so they sat.
Wow.
Whereas you could have somebody charged with a violent crime who had means who would be released as soon as they could pay it. And so they realized, or they are realizing, the powers that be are realizing nationwide that that is unfair and that is unjust. And as long as you don't have a history of blowing court off, you should be given the opportunity, or you're a threat to yourself or others,
right.
You should have the ability and the means to be released and come in of your own volition to court each time.
Makes sense to me. Where can we support that movement, or can we?
Well, you can. Everybody has these different campaigns. So there's the Bail Project, the Chicago Bond Fund, where they actually put up money for those who, say, have a higher bond and the family can't even afford whatever the bond is set at. So you can support things like that. And then my law partner has a movement to get rid of unfair judges, and the judges would be the ones setting that bond. So there are different movements that you can be a part of for free or for, you know, whatever your donation is, or you can be on the ground helping them, you know, helping them get the word out. So I would just say do a little bit of research, find out whatever you're passionate about, and then go after that.
Wow, okay, that's good. You mentioned prostitution, which I think we're going to do a show soon about the simple fact that when it comes to a woman's body, right to choose, you have the right under the law to abort. I say murder, not kill, but some people don't say it's an actual human, so whatever you want to call it, abort your child. And their argument is it's a woman's body. She should be able to do whatever she wants to with it, but can't sell it. We'll let you kill your baby, but we won't let you sell and make money from your body. That's just interesting to me. But that's another show.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is most women aren't doing it on their own terms. So yes, if you had an enterprising woman who was like, this is how I want to make money, great. But most people are either victims of child trafficking, of rape, of molestation, of some type of abuse, and they're doing prostitution out of that trauma years later, and they are doing it under the thumb of some man. And so I think that that's the real problem. We would see all these women who were clearly addicted to drugs, who were clearly the victims of abuse, being charged with prostitution when they are simply victims themselves. So I think that's the greater problem, as opposed to simply saying it's my body. If I want to have sex with somebody and charge that person, that should be up to me. If that's all that was involved, I would agree. But I think that the problem is not we, because I'm not a prosecutor, but these people are prosecuting folks for being victims themselves. They simply got caught and not the pimp or the John.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I think there are also laws on the books outside of that goes against. Well, there's a law against pedophilia, so which I'm hearing they're trying to change that too. Ooh, there's a lot going on in the world right now. But there are laws against all the other symptoms that you're saying. What take issue with is that certain communities are targeted to make it easier for them to kill their child, and their argument is it's the woman's body. But, you have some enterprising women out there now, I'm not recommending that at all. But what I'm saying is that even those who aren't under the thumb of someone else, who haven't been trafficked and just decide that they want to make $40, they can go to jail for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the right to your body, and as long as we tell you have the right to your body. Okay, so now you have, which is absolutely brilliant, a board game.
Thank you. So after 20 years, well, it wasn't quite 20 at the time. The game's been out a year. So after 19 years of practicing law, I got very frustrated with seeing the same things play out in court every single time. Even if I won, and I win a lot, that did not mean that my client's brother, cousin, sister, mother wouldn't get arrested. It didn't mean that my client knew what to do in a police stop other than the specific facts of his arrest. Mm-hmm. I came up with a board game to never need my services, to never even fall into the snares of the criminal justice system. And I thought it was a good idea, drew it out on paper, got a friend who was an artist to start working on it while I worked on the different scenarios. And so there are 54 real-life scenarios that I've personally seen in court, and there are 7 principles that the game teaches through the 54 scenarios. And so then I was like, well, let me see if the game is fun, because it's one thing to have a good idea,
right,
and it's another to have it fall flat because kids actually don't like it.
Right.
But I play tested the game. I got 5 prototypes made, and I play tested the game on 300 kids, Black and Latino, all over the city of Chicago and suburbs. And it was magic watching them play. Mm. I wouldn't tell them anything when I started other than, hey, I'm April, I'm a lawyer, you got 35 minutes to play this game. They would all kind of look at each other like, oh, we don't have to do a lecture today? Mm-hmm. We don't have to write anything today? Right. And so, whatever their class was, they would be relieved. But what was magical was they would put their cell phones down. The jock and the nerd were talking to each other. Uh-huh. They're all talking trash about who's going to get to the end first. Mm-hmm. And they start talking about, oh, wow, this is why my aunt's in jail now. Mm. Or this is what I did last night and didn't get caught. Mm. And so then we could have real life conversations with some context at the end instead of me standing there shaking my finger at them saying, do this, don't do that. Mm. So the game after that, I surveyed all 300 students, asked them what they liked, what they learned, what they would change, and what they didn't like. And then I implemented all of their suggestions into the final product. Nice. And it's just been amazing, the response. So I always say this wrong, the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus bought 100 games for a conference that they were anticipating doing with the youth.
Okay.
I had another nonprofit, Kumba Links, bought 150 games just to give away to the community during the pandemic.
Wow.
Because what happened was when protests broke out nationwide, and like I said, protesters are getting hit in the head daily by police. I'm not exaggerating at all.
Mm-hmm.
People started saying, my kid really does not know what to do under these circumstances. And I have protester examples in the game. So they started frantically buying my game,
Okay.
saying, oh, wow. So if my kid is in a situation like a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or, all the other names that we're learning, they don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me at least equip them. So some situations are out of control, out of your control. If you get a crazy KKK cop who is hell-bent on killing somebody that day, you might not walk away. But that's not most situations.
Mm-hmm.
And in most situations, if you have tools, you will fare better than those who do not.
Where can we get this game?
You can get it at my website, which is justicejunkie.store. And I spell justice a little bit different because there's a saying that there is no justice, there's just us. And I started this whole movement to look out for just us. So it's JUSTUSJUNKIE.store. And I also do free videos every week to teach people what their rights are on Facebook and on YouTube, so that if they don't ever, like I said, don't ever meet me, don't ever hear me speak, don't ever come across the game, they too will have tools if stopped by the police.
Great. I love that. Now, you being an entrepreneur, you have something else going on that's going to help other entrepreneurs?
Yes, and it's all because of COVID.
Okay.
So I've had several businesses. I think you even came to my first book signing. So
Yes, I did.
I've had several businesses since undergrad.
A poet.
And
a poet.
A
poet.
Yeah, I was a performance poet. I had 3 books. Now I have 6 books.
Whoa.
So and I saw a lot of those as failures. I had 2 nonprofits. And some, lasted. One nonprofit still in existence 20 years after me leaving Duke. And then the other one lasted for 6 years, and I saw that as a failure. But what I didn't realize is I walked away from each experience with lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And so when COVID hit, my firm knew that everything was going to change for us because we do litigation.
Right.
So we make our money from going to court.
Right. When
the court shut down, how are we supposed to make money?
Right.
So we quickly pivoted and said, well, what else can we do? And we heard that the government was going to be giving out COVID relief loans. And everybody focuses on the federal government, but every level of government, city, state, county, whole bunch of corporations were all giving out money to help, because small businesses, really keep the economy afloat.
Yes.
So they were going to be giving out money. And so we had done very well with processing multiple applications in the past. We actually are the premier firm in the city for doing marijuana applications.
Okay.
We had filed 250 the first round, I think another 200 the second round. And so we're able to process financial information, go through documents quickly because we have a team in place.
Okay.
And so we said, well, what if we teach the same team to process these COVID apps? And they sat through all the webinars and they sat through all of the Zoom calls. Mm-hmm. And I was just a hype man. I knew a bunch of entrepreneurs. And so one of the young ladies who was helping us, we partnered up. I would recruit the different small businesses. Mm-hmm. She would be the one to do the number crunching. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of interest. But what happened was a good number of people who approached us hadn't done their taxes in 3 years. Mm. Hadn't kept their receipts, did terrible accounting, didn't have any employees, and so they didn't qualify. And so she said, well, hey, what if we make it our mission to help these businesses better position themselves, whether it's to get COVID loans in the future or whether it's simply to stay afloat.
Right.
And so we developed the quad coaches. We recruited 2 more of our friends so that we would have 4 pillars of business covered: marketing, finances and funding, mindset, and teamwork.
Okay.
And that way, any business that is floundering or had to shut down all the way would be able to come back stronger after COVID. So we started a course, a 5-week paid course that we did, and we actually end tomorrow.
Okay.
And we reached, we have 11 students in that course. And prior to that, we did a free webinar and had 220 people sign up for that. But we still want to be able to expand our reach and help people set themselves up to continue pushing through the pandemic and come out stronger on the other side.
Nice.
So we're doing a 5-day challenge that's free.
Okay.
And all people have to do is join our Facebook group. They hop in there, and we'll be doing live videos. I'm sorry, it's called How to Fire Your Boss.
There you go. Fire his ass.
How to Fire Your Boss.
Fire that motherfucker shit.
How to Fire Your Boss after party. And on the group, we'll be hopping on every day next week at 6 p.m. Each of the 4 of us will go on and coach and train on a particular topic and give the members action steps to take immediately to get immediate gains in their business.
Okay.
So we're helping everybody relaunch their business, no matter if the business is 2 months old or it's 20 years old, and whether it's a $2 business or a $2 billion business. There's always a next level, but with every level, there's a new devil, and we want to help people be able to transcend whatever that next level is.
Every level, there's a new devil. Kill that ass. Fire.
You're a business owner, you know that.
Yeah, well.
Every time you have a breakthrough, you have a breakdown.
Man, listen. People don't know the shit you go through. Just being a business owner, it's wild. It's wild. Okay, so it's Fire Your Boss after party. All right, group. Need to get into that group, and got to check out these. When does it start? What date?
Okay, it starts on Monday, August the 10th. And runs through August the 14th, that Friday.
All right, August the 10th, get your ass into that group, Fire Your Boss after party. Then we need you to go over, since this is free, spend some money by going to
justusjunkie.com, justusjunkie.store.
Buy a game, buy a book, buy whatever the hell else she has on there. Do something, spend some money, because she's going to give you a lot of free information. We got to quit. I mean, I love the fact that, you're giving away free information, but we have to learn how to support each other financially if we're going to grow as a people, community, a nation. We have to learn how to do that. So when someone's giving you something away for free, go support them in another way. That's what I believe.
Yeah, we're doing a paid 6-week course as a result of the 5-day challenge. So I tell people get their coins together, because when you pay attention.
Yeah.
And obviously you get a lot more value that you can carry into. And it's not just you're buying something for your kids or you're buying a new toy. You're investing in your business. Which could make you, huge dividends. So I never understand why people are hesitant, because I'm a course junkie. I'm always taking a webinar. Of course, I told my dad I think I took five courses in the last 2-3 weeks. So I'm always trying to expand my brand and extend my reach. And the only way to do that is to get more knowledge.
Right.
You are where you are because of what you know.
Right, definitely.
And if you want to go somewhere else, you have to learn something new.
That's very, very true. All right, so I remember getting your poetry book, and I also hear that you are an artist. You're doing paintings or something like that. What's going on over here?
Yeah, that was accidental. So I'm an only child, and
a little spoiled
when
brat.
COVID first hit, something like that, and everybody was sheltering in place, I had a lot of friends who were having problems with boredom. And I'm like, first of all, you live in a first world country, you got Wi-Fi, you got Netflix, you got video games, what are you talking to me about boredom?
Yeah.
And I would just keep joking, only kids don't get bored. So to inspire people, I started doing 10 item lists, like 10 things you can do today, to beat the boredom. And then I started painting myself. I started painting just to pass the time, and I posted one painting, and people went nuts.
Wow.
And they wanted to buy it, and then I painted another painting, and everything I bought, it would sell within 5 minutes.
Wow.
People would inbox me and buy it on the spot.
Wow.
I didn't have a website, nothing.
Wow.
And so then I started painting, those were on paper, then I started painting on 4-foot tall pieces of wood. And that's actually my preferred medium, acrylic on wood. And I did a painting of a protest.
Okay.
And in the background, the whole city is aflame. You got a very diverse group, white, black, Latinos, all carrying different signs. You got the Black Lives Matter shirt, the Stop Killing Us sign, the I am not a hashtag. That's my personal thing. And everybody wanted to buy it. Like there was like a bidding war in my inbox. And finally I said, no, this piece I'm keeping for myself.
Sell that shit.
Because I think, I think it was important to memorialize the time and and everybody in the picture has masks on. And I just thought it was important to memorialize this time in history. We've never lived through anything like this before. And so I'm going to hold on to that one. I'm guessing it'll grow in value, and maybe I'll sell it at a later date. But
you take a picture of it.
Sold.
You take a picture of it, and then you get your own print of the picture and sell that damn thing. You know me, I'm about making that money. Sell it. Shit.
Yeah. I had to make prints of everything because people would be so upset that the piece that they wanted had sold. And so I made prints of everything and then sold the print.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I applaud you. You've done so many things over the years. And you still look good. You're talking about all these 20 years you've been in business. And I remember we used to hang out at the gym and work out together. So, yeah, you're keeping it together. I love that.
Oh, I did a workout video, too. All during COVID.
God damn, boy.
Been doing a lot.
Jesus. Yeah, I thought I did a lot. But see, I feel like I'm not keeping up now. I gotta get to work. We have over 200 some products over at theindycity.com, and good grief, I still feel like I haven't done any work after talking to you. Good grief. Okay. Listen, I appreciate it. Give everyone all of your social media, please.
Sure. So Justice Junkie on Facebook, Justice Junkie on Instagram. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay. Great. Get in touch with her. I don't know when the legal system will open back up or have the courts open back up or not. I don't know. But if you're in trouble, get to them on the double. Okay, that was my Johnny Cochran impression. Let's come up with some dumbass phrase and actually win from it. Hey, I appreciate you coming through the show, and I wish you continued success, which I know you're going to be successful continuously. Just know that I'm proud of you. I keep saying first grade because I have literally known you since first grade, and it's great to see you grow into the beautiful, strong, talented woman you are, and I want to celebrate you right now.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad that we can support one another. And I was rocking my Indy City shirt on my video.
Yes, you were. Thank you.
So hopefully that will get you some traction.
I love it.
And I got, and I posted the link as well. And I had people asking me where I got the shirt from. So I am proud of you and all of your endeavors, and I'm glad that we can collab.
Thank you. We'll get to work on something soon once this smoke clears, because I'm sheltering myself. I'm not going anywhere. That's why I started a podcast, because people want me to come to their studio, and I'm like, I'm not going to no damn studio. I got a whole condition. I'm not playing with it. Y'all can talk all the shit you want to about it not being real, but 100 and some odd thousand people say it's not, in America right now. So until they figure this thing out, I'm going to be my ass in the house. April Preyar, I love you.
I agree with you.
I love you, sister. And
I love you too.
And continued success, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, the world's changing, ladies and gentlemen. And here in the U.S., it's changing a lot. We have a voting section coming up soon. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I will say that if you want change, you're going to have to look at people's record. And you're going to have to look at, is that record the change that you want for the future? Are you happy with what they've already done in their lives or their political careers? That's where you make the choice. Don't make the choice because you identify with a party. Don't make the choice because that's what you've always done. And certainly don't make the choice because that's what your family has done for decades. Investigate the records of the candidates. And from that, then make your choice. Because you just might have to live with it. If you want change, then vote for change. I'm King B. This has been the first Raw Fusion podcast.